Hello, my name's Al and today I'm going to show you how to change your chain. Whether you're changing your chain because it's damaged or because it's worn, it's important to know exactly how worn it is. The best way of finding that out is using a chain wear indicator, something like this Park CC 3.2 chain wear indicator. This sits in the chain and it's basically a go, no-go tool. It measures the stretch of the chain. If it's between 0.5 and 0.75%, you should be able to change the chain without having to worry about the rest of the drivetrain. So if it's over 0.75, you'll probably find you'll need to change your cassette, and if it's worse again still, you'll probably need to replace your chain rings. So it's a good idea to replace your chain when it's around about the 0.5% wear mark. Tool-wise, things really couldn't be any simpler. You need a chain tool. Obviously, it needs to be compatible with your chain, so make sure it'll cope with the number of gears you've got on your bike, 9, 10, 11 speed. And that's it. So I'm going to assume that you've got a chain that's the right length on your bike already. There's a couple of things that you're going to want to check to make sure it is the right length. First of all, you're going to make sure your B tension screw is set. This alters the distance between the upper guide pulley here and the first sprocket on the cassette. See, that will influence how long a chain you'll be able to get away with and where you want to break it. So make sure that that's set correctly, because we're not going to alter that down the line. So get that right. Then we're going to check that the chain isn't too long. So here we are in 11th gear, so 11th sprocket, smallest one at the back, and the smallest chainring at the front. And you'll notice that the chain still has some tension in it. If the chain was too long, the mech would be right up here and the chain would be running on the other side of the chain up here, be too long. To check that it's not too short, we need to go into the opposite extreme, which is, on this bike, 12th gear. So biggest chainring at the front and first sprocket at the back. And you'll see that the rear mech is stretched out. It's under quite a lot of tension, but it's still got a bit to give. It's not going to cause a problem. So now we know this, we're able to use this chain to measure our new chain. This makes it as easy as possible, but I'll also go through showing you how to check that your chain's the right length if you didn't have a chain to compare it to. What we're removing here is a Shimano chain. If you're taking it off and just putting it in the bin, you don't need to worry about this, but if you want to use it on another bike, it's important that we don't break the chain at the original joining pin. Now, this pin looks very slightly different to all the other pins. It's the pin that was fitted originally to join the chain, and that should stay in place. We should break the chain somewhere else. So we're going to choose a pin that isn't the original darker joining pin, and making sure everything's all nicely lined up. I'm going to drive that pin all the way out. If we wanted to rejoin it, being a Shimano chain, we'd need a new joining pin. With that pin removed, chain comes off easily. So you can probably see here that the old chain ends in a female link, so that's outer plates, and that corresponds with the new chain here. If we had a Shimano chain that we were joining, we would need to have female plates, a female link, so outer plates at one end, and male, i.e. the inner plates, at the other end, so they can fit together. However, here we're fitting a SRAM chain, which uses a quick release link, which we have here. And this takes the place of the female links. So we need to cut the chain half a link shorter, so it ends male and male at both ends. Okay, so we're going to fit the chain. We need to make sure it runs around the jockey wheels correctly. So pass it in through here, over the little tab that sits in between the two cages, over the top jockey wheel, and then back out around the back of the cassette. You'll note we're in the smallest sprocket here, and the front mech is set to the smallest chainring. Now here, remember earlier we made sure that our B tension screw was set correctly, and we're going to measure the chain off here and make sure that we're going to cut it to the right length. So we want to put a little bit of tension in the chain, basically the minimum amount that we can, which will ensure that it's not too tight when we're in the big combination. For this particular SRAM chain here, we'd be breaking this link, pushing the pin out to leave us with 2 male ends so we can use our quick link to join them together. If it was a Shimano chain, it'd be the next pin along, so we'd have a female and a male end to join together. So whether you've measured it off the bike or on the bike, you've selected the pin that you're going to drive out. Make sure everything's lined up and drive the pin all the way through. So here we have our SRAM chain, so 2 male ends and our quick link connector. You'll note it has a direction of travel, little arrow. Make sure that's orientated correctly. And then fasten the chain together. They're normally quite stiff. You won't be able to pull them apart to lock it into place properly without rotating the cranks till we get the link to the top runner chain, and then we're going to have a little stab at the pedals to lock it together. That's our chain properly connected. So with the new chain fitted, everything should work as it did before. Just going to make sure that when we do go for that big gear combination, so largest chainring and largest sprocket, that we've got enough slack in the system that we don't cause any damage. And that's all fine as it was before. So nice new chain on there, ready for a few more rides. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.